Hi, and welcome back. Today I'm going to break down 3 ways that I made extra money last year without having to really do any extra work. So these aren't gimmicks or risky investments. These are techniques that anyone can use, especially if you're a long-term traveler or retired and you're looking for ways to stretch your budget. So stick around because these strategies could help fund your next adventure. For those of you who are new here, my name is Kyria and I've traveled to almost 60 countries over the last 25 years. And last year, I retired early to travel the world full time. Before I get started, I just want to stress that this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, and you should always read the fine print. And so if you have any questions about this, you should consult your financial advisor or your CPA before making any changes. All right, let's get started. The first one I want to talk about is credit card hacking. And before you run away, this doesn't have to be overly complicated. I know there are a lot of sites and channels that talk about this, and it seems like a lot of information to process sometimes, but with the right card and just your regular normal spending, you can actually fund a lot of travel each year. So let me just give you a quick rundown. There are many different ways to get points, but one of the easiest and fastest ones is through opening bonuses. So what this means is that if you spend a certain amount of dollars within a certain amount of time after you open the card, you get a bigger bonus of points or dollars or whatever the incentive is. The incentive can be in cash, it can be in points, it can be in credits, or it can be in maybe a higher percentage of cash back or something like that for a first amount of time. It can be in 0% APR transfers. With all this stuff, you do need to, like I said, read the fine print because there are always caveats to some of the rewards. After that, the best bang for your buck is to find a card that pays the most points on the things that you spend money on. A good example of this is groceries or gas. There are some cards that you can get 4 times or 5 times points for these things. And these are things you're going to be spending money on every day or every week anyway. And so the points can add up. For me, I don't spend a lot of money on groceries, but even for me, I could probably get at least 1 flight each year just based on my grocery spend if I have the right card. Another quick disclaimer is that you should always pay your card off in full every month, and also beware of spending extra money in order to try to get the bonuses. This can be a slippery slope and can often make the sign-up bonus less valuable if it backfires. So let me talk about some of my favorite cards. My favorite line is probably the Chase Sapphire line. The reason for this is that the points that you receive from the Chase line are transferable to multiple different places. Instead of just having a card that's airline or hotel specific, if you get the Chase card, you could transfer your points to many different airlines or hotels. So this makes it a lot more flexible. And the other thing that it helps with is devaluing. So, I know for sure that I had a United card and my points basically got devalued. So I ended up finally using them, but I really did not get the best bang for my buck with these. The same thing goes for Marriott. I just read an article about Marriott points getting devalued, which is unfortunate because I also have some of those saved up. And it makes a lot more sense to get a card like the Chase card, or you can get other cards like this. Amex has it and Capital One has it, and there are other options as well. But the Chase card specifically can be transferred to any hotel whenever you want. So you can hold the points in your Chase account until you're ready to book a hotel, and then you can just transfer the points from Chase to the hotel or airline that you want to book and basically book instantaneously. And I've done this myself. I thought, oh gosh, I'm going to look for the hotel and then it's not going to be available when I finally get the points, but the points transferred within like 2 minutes. And then I was able to book the hotel with no issue. So it makes it very easy and it makes it very versatile. The other thing about specifically the Chase Sapphire line is that there are other options for using your points as well. So you can use your points to book travel in their portal. You can use your points to buy gift cards. You can use your points to help pay off some of the charges on your card. These aren't always the best value for the money. I think transferring the points to a hotel or an airline are the best way to get the best bang for your buck. However, those are also options. A lot of times the options such as gift cards or using the money to pay your bill are worth about 1 penny per point. Whereas sometimes if you transfer your points to an airline or hotel, you can get a value of over 2 cents per point. So Chase has a lot of partners where you can transfer your points, or you can also use your points to book travel in their portal, and they do give you a favorable rate depending on which card you have. They have the base card, which is the preferred card, and this one costs $95 per year, but you do get a $50 hotel credit if you use it in their portal. So potentially this could mean that you're only paying roughly $45 for the card if you can use the hotel credit to your benefit. You also get 5 times points on anything booked through the portal and 3 times points on dining out. The current bonus as of today, which is February of 2025, is 60,000 points once you spend $4,000 in the first 3 months. This is a good starter travel credit card because not only is the fee a little bit lower, plus you still get the advantage of having the Chase transferable points, but also they have some extra little bonuses, like you'll get 10% back for any dollars that you spend in points. So I know that doesn't really make sense, but let's just say, for instance, you spend $25,000, you'll get 2,500 points back at the end of the year. You also get things like complimentary DoorDash memberships, and I think a $10 credit on any non-restaurant DoorDash things that you spend on. For me, this isn't really a huge benefit because I don't use DoorDash, but for you, this might be something that is helpful. To top that off, if you read the fine print, which I always do, you also get several other benefits from having this card. Stuff like trip cancellation, warranties, insurance on your car rentals, trip delay reimbursement, and baggage delay insurance. So things like that can be very helpful depending on what your situation is. They also have no foreign transaction fees, which is critical if you're going to be traveling internationally. Chase also has the Sapphire Reserve card, which is the one that I have, and it does cost a little bit extra. It's $550 a year, but you do get a $300 travel credit. And that one is not something you need to use booking through the portal. You just get the credit on your bill if you spend any money on travel in general. The other thing it has above the preferred card is it has lounge access at airlines. It also has things like concierge service and a credit for either TSA pre or global entry every 4 years. In addition, it has extra fine print, such as death and dismemberment insurance, evacuation insurance, roadside assistance, and emergency medical and dental insurance. There are also various other perks like elite status at several car rental companies. For me, this is one that I'm still evaluating because I am not sure if the lounge access or extra perks are really going to be worth it for me. But last year they weren't really. This year we'll see how it goes because I'll be doing more air travel, but I'll definitely report back at the end of the year and let you know. The other one that's a potential option that I like and I have is the Capital One Venture. I didn't get the Venture X, which is the more expensive version of the two, because I already had the Sapphire Reserve and I just didn't really feel like I wanted to pay that much for that many cards. So I got the Capital One Venture, which is the $95 version. And that one gets 2 times points on everything, which is kind of nice because some of the other travel cards don't really give you very high of points on non-travel related spend. The other one I like is the Amex Gold, but this one is really a lot better if you're still in the United States because one of its biggest perks is 4 times points on groceries. So it costs $325 a year as well, but you do get a lot of different restaurant and dining credits. Again, this is one that I do have and I will be evaluating at the end of the year because I'm no longer in the US, and so it's not really as valuable while you're traveling. And also, even when I was in the US, I really don't use a lot of those dining credits to their fullest advantage. And so you'll see a lot of people on YouTube talking about, oh, it costs $325, but you're going to get $100 off on this, and $120 off on this, and $120 off on this. And so basically it costs nothing. But each of those credits, it's not like a full-on $120 that you just get in one go. They do it in $10 increments per month, and you have to spend over $10 to get the $10 back. So for instance, one of them is Grubhub, the other one is Resy. So a lot of those different companies, it's fine if you use those, but if you don't, then it's not really worth the spend. So that is one you would need to evaluate yourself. But I do like the 4 times groceries, but it's only on US grocery stores. So again, I'm not sure it's one that's that great if you're already traveling abroad. Another thing I think you should have if you're traveling is a hotel card. The great thing about these hotel cards is usually they cost about $100 a year, but most of them give you at least one free night stay per year. So the best one I think right now that I like, and I have this one, is the IHG Premier Mastercard. And this again is almost $100, but they give you one free night stay. The other thing that's really good about it is they give you automatic Premier status, and also you get every fourth night free if you book with points. So all of that can be very useful. The other thing you can do is you can buy points, and sometimes they'll match your points 1-to-1. So if you buy 100,000 points, they'll give you another 100,000 points, which is essentially will make those points cost about half a cent each. So if you break it down, a lot of times you can buy points and get the hotel a lot cheaper than you would get if you had to pay cash for it. So the IHG card is probably the top one I would recommend as far as hotel cards. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the points that I got last year for these cards. Last year, I received about 500,000 points for all of the cards, whether it was through bonuses or spending. So even if you use the kind of lower end value, which is 1 cent per point, that's roughly $5,000 worth of points that I made last year. And to be fully transparent, these cards obviously cost money. And so my total cost, and I'm going to take off things like the $300 travel credit for the Sapphire Reserve, but my total cost is about $700 for these cards. So you do have to kind of evaluate whether or not that's worth it to you. But for the first year, when you get the bonus, a lot of times that yearly fee is completely worth it. The other thing is, last year I booked roughly $4,000 worth of travel using points. So $4,000 worth of travel that I didn't have to pay for. The other thing someone asked me the other day was, how do I get a credit card if I'm not working? So that's a great question. But in my application, I put in retired and I put in my dividend income as my salary, and I have had no issues whatsoever. So one last thing to note is that Chase does have a rule that you can't get any more than 5 credit cards in a 24-month period, or they won't accept you. So if you are thinking of getting a travel credit card or several travel credit cards, the best thing to do is to get the Chase cards first and then work on the other ones after, because a lot of the other companies don't have that same restriction. Okay, well, that's a lot of talk about travel credit cards. So let's move on to the next one, which is brokerage bonuses. Many investment firms will give you a bonus if you move a certain amount of cash or stocks or bonds, so securities, into their firm. Right now, like I said, February 2025, if you Google brokerage bonuses, you'll see a list probably from Bankrate or NerdWallet or one of those sites, which talks about what brokerages are offering bonuses. So for instance, currently E-Trade, JP Morgan, and Schwab are all offering bonuses if you transfer a certain amount of dollars worth of securities over to their firm. These bonuses do range depending on how much you're transferring over. And there is fine print, so don't forget to read that. And mostly that has to do with, a lot of times they won't give you a bonus if you're an existing customer. Most of the time there is a certain amount of time you have to leave the money in that account before you will get the bonus. And then some of them will pay the bonus within 7 days of you transferring money, and some of them won't pay the bonus until the time period is over. So just make sure you read all of the print as far as that goes. So as an example, E-Trade currently has a bonus offer going through July. And if you transfer, let's just say $100,000, you'll get a $600 credit. However, you have to transfer the funds within 60 days after opening the account, and you have to leave the funds in the account for a year. Each firm has different rules, and you just need to make sure you pay attention to what they are. So you're probably saying, but this is a pain to have to move my stuff around all the time. It's actually not that hard. The way that it works is once you open a new account, you can submit a request for transfer. So let's say you want to transfer stocks over. From your new account that you just opened, you need to submit a request for a transfer, and you can specify what stocks you want to transfer or how many shares of those stocks you want to transfer from whatever other account you have. And then it takes about 5 to 8 business days usually for the transfer to happen. And then if you want to transfer cash, you just need to put in your bank account information into the new account and transfer the cash, and that usually takes anywhere from 3 to 5 business days for that to happen. So it's actually not very hard. The other thing to note is that if you're transferring cash, you don't need to invest it into anything, into any stocks or any bonds. You can just transfer the cash over and put it into a money market fund for the amount of time that you have to hold it. So that way you'll get a higher yield, and also then you'll get the bonus. So you don't need to invest in anything more risky. It can just be something very simple like that. And then once the time period's over, you can transfer the money back out. Now, one caveat is that a lot of firms will charge you to transfer your account out, and that charge can be anywhere from like $75 to $100 depending on the firm. So do take that into consideration when you're looking at the information for the bonuses. As a side note, this isn't something that I did, but you can also do this for checking accounts. So a lot of banks will give you an incentive to transfer your money over to them. A lot of times, though, their fine print is that you have to do a direct deposit at least a certain amount of times. So you would have to set up a direct deposit to have money go in. And then the other thing is they also have a time period that you would have to leave your money in there. So that would be something you need to look into, but I know that is another way you could make a few extra dollars. Okay, so the last thing I did to get a little extra money was to use referral codes. You can do this by going onto Reddit, and there are sites where you can post your referral codes for other people to use. This only really works if your referral code is giving them some incentive or something back. So for me, mine was Google Fi. So Google Fi has a deal where if someone uses your referral code, they get $60 off. $60 is quite a lot. So this was a very enticing one, I think, for a lot of people. So I posted my code on Reddit, and you're allowed to get from Google Fi up to $600 in referral credits. And I actually got $600 in referral credits last year. So this works also with a lot of other things. I know that Rakuten has one, and there's a lot of other ones that have them. So you could just post them on this site, and anyone can use it if they want to. A couple of tips for this. There's one site which I can link below, which is just for general referral codes, but then some companies have specific sites for the referral codes. So you might find one specific to whatever it is that you have a referral code for. The other thing is, it makes sense to post it every so often because people are going to click the one that's on the very top, right? So you want to maybe go on every couple of weeks and post it again, or however often you want. But for me, for my Google one, I posted it about once a month, and 1 month, I don't know what happened, it just took off and I got the $600, so I didn't ever need to post it again because I already got maxed out. For some referral code sites, you have to be an active member of Reddit, so you may need to go and comment or post on some other sites before they'll let you put your referral code on their site. But that's easy enough. I just went to a bunch of travel sites and asked them questions about the places I'm about to go, because I find Reddit is very helpful for that as well. Okay, now I've gone over a few ways that I make a few extra dollars so I can spend it on travel, so it's your turn. Tell me in the comments, what tips and tricks do you have for me? And once again, thank you so much for watching, and happy travels. In addition, the additional